All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into a really provocative article called The Power of the Ordinary Word. Now, the whole idea here is that there's one single, super simple word that can either, completely trap a relationship in misery or be the key to setting it free. So yeah, let's break this one down.
So, the source material kicks things off with this really compelling question. It gets right to the heart of all that unspoken tension. It's asking, what's this one thing that men are terrified of saying, but that their partner desperately needs to hear?
And right away, the stakes get raised, big time. The article argues that this fear, it's not just some minor hang-up. No. It's the very thing that gets couples stuck in what the author calls a miserable loop.
Okay, let's get into the first part of this argument. What is this unconventional premise all about? Well, it pretty much throws a wrench in what a lot of people believe about communication in a relationship.
So the central claim here is that all that effort to keep the peace by, avoiding the tough conversations, it's actually a huge mistake. The article's basically saying the real key to a better relationship is leaning into those difficult words, the very things we're most scared to say.
All right, so what exactly is this miserable loop we're talking about? The source gives a pretty specific diagnosis here. We're not just talking about a general feeling of being unhappy. This is about a very specific, destructive pattern.
And right at the heart of this problem, the author points to something they call an unchecked ego. The thinking goes like this. When one person in the relationship has, unlimited power, you'd think they'd be happy, right? Wrong. The source claims it doesn't lead to happiness for anyone. Instead, it just creates misery and this deep lack of fulfillment for both people.
And this really illustrates the loop itself. So check out the 4 stages. It starts with a man's fear of conflict. That fear then leads to the partner developing an unchecked ego. From there, you get mutual misery and a total lack of fulfillment for both of them. And the end result? A relationship that's not built on love, but on manipulation. It's a vicious cycle that just feeds itself over and over.
But here's the kicker. The article claims there is one single thing that can shatter this entire cycle. Just one. And it all boils down to one simple but absolutely terrifying word.
So if that's the diagnosis, what's the cure? What's the antidote? Well, let's move on to the proposed solution, because the text puts forward something that is, it's pretty counterintuitive, to say the least.
And there it is. The word is ordinary. Now, what's so interesting here is how this is framed. It's not presented as an insult, not at all. It's framed as an act of rescue. The idea is you're saving your partner from the monster that this unlimited power has created.
Okay, but why that specific word? Why ordinary? Well, according to the source, the rationale is pretty clear. First, it's an act of truth-telling. It's supposed to be a necessary counterbalance to that unchecked ego we talked about. And in doing so, it supposedly saves your partner from their own unfulfilled state and, crucially, breaks that whole cycle of manipulation.
All right, so let's talk about the promised outcome. What's the claimed result of actually using this antidote? The source promises nothing less than a fundamental transformation of the entire relationship.
And this comparison really drives the point home. It's a stark contrast, right? On one side, you have the monster, miserable, unfulfilled, living with unlimited power that's all based on manipulation. But on the other side, you have the saved partner. They're respected, fulfilled, grounded in truth, in a relationship based on real respect. The crucial point here is that the source presents this as a direct cause and effect.
Ultimately, the whole argument boils down to this: that one single difficult truth is the key. It's the thing that can supposedly tear down the entire manipulative dynamic and rebuild the relationship on a brand new foundation of actual genuine respect.
And that really leaves us with one final big question to chew on, doesn't it? This whole idea is, it's incredibly provocative. But it does force you to think about this. In any relationship, where exactly is the line between a transformative truth and just simple cruelty? That's a tough one to answer.